team, welcome back to Pedal and Purpose. We're going to go over something that a lot of you have been asking me about, and that is bike suggestion. Like, what bike am I supposed to pick? How am I supposed to choose it? What should the price be? What's a good price range? So, with all of that, I'm going to answer those questions for you today. And what we're going to end up doing is taking you kind of into uh, what I would say would be the most affordable up until like the elite of the elite. So, we're going to go through quite a few. Just bear with me. We're going to make sure that you guys get at least some of the questions answered. And then, of course, I'm always here to help you guys if you have questions after that. So, with that being said, things that you're going to be looking for when you're choosing a quality bike, we're going to go through quite a few things of that. So, anything from how your seat moves to how your handlebars move, all of those good things that maybe you wouldn't necessarily think of in the very beginning. I'm going to help you kind of break that down. If you have any questions, make sure to throw it in the comments and I'll answer it right here, right now, all that good stuff. So, one of the first things that you should be looking for is that you have a sturdy bike. So, for somebody who's brand new, how would I know if it's sturdy? So, when you're looking on places just like Google and you're going directly to the source, a great way to tell is it's going to have like somewhat of a heavy look. Now, for somebody who's brand new to spin, you're not going to know what that is. But when you start to look at some, compare them to others, and of course, you're going to want to look over reviews. If you have like elite style people riding those bikes, make sure to look at what they suggest and then kind of compare those to the ones that you're finding that are more in your price range. What's another thing that you're going to be looking for? You need to make sure, and this isn't going to happen on all bikes, but try your best to find a bike that has it to where you can move the seat and handlebar on the height, and then you can also move it forward or backwards, because that's going to be a huge thing. Imagine if you're 4'10" versus somebody who's 6'5", you wouldn't want to ride on the same bike where you couldn't adjust the seat or the handlebars, right? That's just weird. So you're going to want to look for a bike where it will adjust so that you can cater it and build it around your body type. So also, not only that, but you're definitely going to want to look for something just like, like I said, comparing it to the people who you know are actually using the bikes all the time. So if you're looking at people who are riding online instructors, look at the bikes that they're actually riding on. Look and see what it is that they use the most, and definitely like take advantage of that. Like reach out to them and say, what kind of bike are you using? I want to get it of a certain type of bike, but I don't know exactly what. So try to find those things just by reaching out to those people. And in most cases, if somebody wants to help you reach the next level, they're going to give you the answers to those things. And if they don't, they're jerks. Don't follow them. So moving forward, what else do we need to know when it comes to all this? Bike number one. This is what I say is kind of like at maybe I would say the beginning stages of what you could get when it comes to a bike. This one is called a Le Monde Revmaster. Le Monde. I can spell. I can read. I took Hooked on Phonics when I was young. Guys, Le Monde Revmaster Pro. So this is a great one that you could start with. This is one that I say does great for quite a few things. It's going to be on the most or least expensive end of it. So you're not going to have all the bells and whistles that you would want to have for, like the Peloton ranges. However, this is going to get the job done. I was able to not only start with this type of a bike when I started riding, but I was also able to use this bike when learning choreo. So one of the things that you'll notice about this bike versus the other bikes that I do introduce to you, other bikes, they normally have handlebars, which is what we call position 3 at the very top. And in this case, with the Rev Master Pro, it actually goes in a full, like, connected hexagon shape type thing. Maybe more than 6 edges to it, but it's going to have a top bar. It has 2 at the top, 2 at the sides of the top, which would be like your 10 and 2 when you're driving a car. It has some on the sides and then 1 on the bottom. So clearly, that would be more than 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, that is 6. So it comes in like a hexagon form. It's not going to be complete, exact links for that type of a hexagon, but your hand position is going to be pretty convenient. The only issue is that when you're actually using the bike, you're not able to do choreo in the same way that I am telling you how to do it on this bike because my handlebars are actually position 3. So that's not a bad thing. It's just going to be different. Another thing that you'll notice on this type of bike, yes, you can move the handlebars up and down as well as the seat, but you can also move the seat and the handlebars forward and backwards. So that's perfect. Like I said, analogy, somebody who's 4'10" versus somebody who's 6'5". I wouldn't want to be 4'10" and sitting on a bike where I have to reach my hands out so far that I can barely touch the handlebars, and vice versa if I'm 6'5". So you're going to want to make sure that you can do those things. You'll be able to do that with this. One of the negatives that I had with a Le Mans RevMaster Pro, the only issue that I had with this one is that when you go to crank that resistance, you are cranking half of your song, I swear. Like, you're turning that knob over and over and over and over again. So it becomes somewhat of a nuisance, especially when you're trying to find ranges. So usually when I'm teaching in my class in person, I'll tell you like a range from 5 to 10. So it doesn't mean necessarily your 5 to a 6 is one full turn, but you'll feel it when you actually turn it. So if I'm telling you go from a 5 to a 10, you literally can tell the difference just with just a few turns. So when it comes to the bikes of this one, the Le Mans RevMaster, you're literally cranking it 20 times before you start to feel anything. Good thing is you can work on speed. Negative thing is when you're trying to go from maybe a flat road to a hill, it's going to take you a long time to get there. So that would only be my negative when it comes to that. Other than that, I think this bike is fantastic. Another one that I would suggest to you guys, and this is one that I only used for a very short period of time. When I started working at Central Cycling, they had the Star Track Spinner NXT, and it's actually a great bike. Yes, you can move the handlebars and the seat up and down as well as forward and back. So that's going to be a great thing to look for when it comes to this bike, but it's also on the less expensive end. So when you compare those two bikes, like I said, you're going to want something that's actually really sturdy. So compare this bike to the Le Mans RevMaster Pro. This one, straight up and down, it's super thin. This one is a little chunkier. It's got a little weight to it. So that's what I mean by sturdy. Like, the heavier it looks, more than likely, the more you're going to be able to move on that bike like you want to. We're not just doing a regular spin class. We're not doing just moving your feet, RPM. We are dancing on our bikes, okay? We're getting it. We're not playing around. So you want something that's sturdy so that when you do go into that lean or you do go into that four corner, you don't feel your bike starting to tip. Now, you're not necessarily going to feel that with the Le Mans RevMaster Pro, but you're going to feel it less with a Star Track Spinner NXT because it is a little on the chunkier side. I didn't really have issues with this bike. I would just say it's just old school, something that a lot of people actually use when it comes to spin, and so it's a great one to start with for sure. Now, here is, I mean, I'm just being biased because this is a bike that I use, but this one is like the elite, what people are like literally fighting for, other than what you see now, like the Pelotons and whatnot. The stages, you got an SC1, SC2, and SC3. Same type, but it's under the umbrella of BMW, but you got a Series 3, Series 5, all that kind of stuff. So you're going to start at the bottom, least expensive, less bells and whistles, SC1, which is great. So the things that you're not necessarily going to get on this bike, you will start to see in the SC2 and SC3. The differences, I can't tell you specifically. I can tell you at the studio that I work at, we use the SC2s, which are fantastic. Like, I love them so much. You'll see in this picture where the handlebars, where you start to adjust, or the seat, when you're moving it up and down, it's a little knob. Some of them you will actually see a little lever. So you pull it out, you push it in, it clicks in. This sucker doesn't move the entire time that you're actually riding on that bike. It's fantastic. Like, I love it so much. I could be feeling like I'm in a nightclub, 3 drinks deep, and I'm still getting into my sway, and I don't have to worry. You guys feel me, okay? So it is sturdy, it's chunky, it is nice, okay? One of the great things that I love about the Stages bikes as well is most of them are going to come with a shift lever. So when I say that, you don't see it necessarily in this picture, but on my bike, every once in a while, you'll hear me call it out when I'm doing live classes. I don't necessarily use it so much because a lot of people don't have this feature, but if I do, what that does is instead of actually cranking my wheel 2 to 3 times, I will literally take my lever, which will start on my left, move it to the center or to the right, and it cranks it either 1 to 1.5 to 2 to 3 turns in a like snap of a finger. So that's a fantastic part of it, especially when I go into like double times. So what we'll be doing when I call a double time is we're going at a slow pace, like 1, 2, left, right, left, right. If I want to speed it up instantaneously, I take that shift gear from the right and I move it all the way to the left. My 1, 2, 1, 2 quickly turns into a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. On any other bike, you're going to have to crank, 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 crank. Now imagine you're using the Le Mans Rev Master Pro. That's not just 2 to 3 turns. You're going to have to crank that sucker just to get it where your legs start flying again, and vice versa when you go to slow it back down. So this is a great way to kind of think, how can I make that quick adjustment? And with the Stages bikes, if you have the shifter, that makes it very quick. That's an awesome feature that they have. So handlebars, like I said, and the seat go up and down. They go forward and back. Fantastic. Not only that, but with these bikes, you definitely have the secure mind of like, my seat's not going to move or my handlebars are not going to move. So the bikes that I listed before, not always will you have it to where it's super, super secure. And that's just because you get what you pay for the most part. The Stages bikes are going to be a little bit more on the expensive side, but just know, like, you're definitely getting what you pay for when it comes to all that kind of stuff. So keep that in mind. Don't let it discourage you. Those are all going to be great things that you're going to be able to use, and it's going to definitely put you in the right position to reach your goals. So just to kind of go over things. With Pedal and Purpose, my goal is to not only help you get on the bike and move those pedals, but you got to reach that purpose. How do you do that? That includes getting the right bike for you. So make sure to do your research, for sure. We will always say that. Always make sure to do your research. And then not only that, also ask for guidance. So I'm always here to make sure that you guys get the questions answered that you need. I don't want you going out there spending a bunch of money and not understanding why you spent it. So if you have questions, if you're like, you know what, I would love a Stages bike, but I don't necessarily have money for it or the investment for it, I will give you other suggestions if the ones that I listed here don't work out for you, which is totally fine. Like, I have no problem helping you guys in that area whatsoever. Also, make sure that you get a warranty because, like I said, this is going to be an investment. So don't think of it as like, I'm just going to go buy a shirt at the store and then if it doesn't fit, I'm going to take it back. Sure, that can be a possibility, but what you're signing up for is not just to try your bike out and send it back home. Or send it back to the place that you bought it from. This is an investment in the same way that you would invest in your home, you would invest in your car, you would invest in your family. So when you have like a little bit of savings, you invest it in something to help it grow more money so that you can take care of your family for a lifelong period of time. Same exact thing. You wouldn't want to just go onto Facebook Marketplace and just buy the first bike that you see for $50 because you're going to get what you pay for. So make sure that you go through all these things, do your research, ask for guidance, get a warranty if you can. And mind you, Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, those are all great places to find a bike. I actually got mine on Facebook Marketplace, and I ride on the SC3. So I got the best one possible without having the actual screen on it. So with my SC3, I think those average right under $3,000, and I got mine for a third of the price on Facebook Marketplace. Obviously, I wasn't able to get a warranty, but I also know how to work around small little issues with my bike. I know how to fix my bike because I've been riding it for so long, and I know the right people to go to if something does happen to my bike. So think about those things. If you can get a warranty, and last but not least, your bike is an investment, so do not just think that it's going to be something that's going to be here for a little bit and get rid of it. If you're not committed to it from the very beginning, you should know that deep down in your soul. If you want this and if you want it bad enough, you will make it happen. So invest however you can. Comments, concerns, questions, let me know. I'm happy to help you guys out. And anything that you guys need to help you get closer to that purpose and getting through the finish line, all you got to do is just raise your hand, ask, let us know. But make sure to save this however you can. Comment if you need anything answered, questions, or make sure to also go to YouTube, check out the videos. If you don't know the links, it's always right up here. in the bio so that you can directly go to the YouTube page, watch the videos, and I'm going to get you more content coming up soon. I love you guys, and I will see you guys very, very soon.